Hi, my name is Christian Izzard, and today we are going to be going over, today we're going to be going over my 2025 service learning project experience here at Concordia. So for this Serving Learners project, we were helping children and families in the local child welfare system. In particular, we were creating backpacks where we added in supplies that ranged from school supplies to everyday living necessities such as blankets or other items that are needed for these families as they transition from places to place. We did this as response to those who may had to have in previous time carry their items in garbage bags, which can feel dehumanizing. So we did this by collecting these supplies together, working in teams of two or three or more, working together to create these bags for them so we can meet their the necessities for these families. Canadian. Yep. So what are my main takeaways from the service learning project? So outside of just the general servicing that we did, helping the community, which felt really good, and being able to give back and kind of reflecting on, not only the things that you don't have, but the things that you do have and the things that you can offer to other people. Um, I was able to learn a lot from the keynote speakers. In particular, I found the pastor's service um, speaking to be really impactful, where he talked about psychology and faith and supporting mental health struggles and families. Um, One thing that he said really that stood out to me is how we can't change anyone. We can only encourage others. And I found that to be impactful because oftentimes when we aren't able to help people as we imagine in our eyes, we can feel like we failed or that we didn't do enough. But in reality, sometimes we're only there to plant the seed. Um, so we can't be so hard on ourselves and feel like we are the only ones who can impact or have the ability to create a better life for people. People have to go out for themselves and they have to put in some of that work as well. So I found that really to be impactful. He also talked about having that healthy family and work-life balance because, sometimes when you're really dedicated to your craft, sometimes you may neglect their own family, and then that starts some own issues that you'll have to deal with as well. So it's important that, you aren't so hard on yourself and that you are able to offer some grace to yourself as well. Um, our second speaker talked about body image, in particular, eating disorders in children. I was shocked to find out the different statistical data that had been collected about how early body image problems can start inside of young children. Our speaker let us know that 40 to 60% of first grade girls worry about weight and becoming fat. Another thing that I found interesting was ARFID, which is basically when individuals have sensations or senses um, that are restricting them from eating certain types of food. I found this interesting because I work with children with autism, and this is something that is very prevalent in this population. So it's nice to kind of see the name that is put on it, um, so I can look into it some more and just kind of learn something new. It was really cool. And then I also really liked how they have Live Recover Ed, where they are creating these programs to help this community, and then also with the pastor having the spiritual boot camp. So for my biblical themes, I chose relational person, and then also broken knee redemption, because we are all made in God's image, and we are created to have a relationship with Him, but also a relationship with His creation. So helping out our fellow man, really relates to this year's service learning project. And then also broken in re need of redemption. It is important to remember that we aren't perfect and that only having a relationship with Christ can heal our brokenness and our traumas, um, and the things that we go through in life. So I feel like that also relates to, the eating disorders, and then also um, the struggles that we go through on a day-to-day basis, whether that be families suffering from finances or families suffering from mental health issues. So that wraps up my conclusion of this year's service learning project. I had a great experience going through the project, and I enjoyed it as my last service project at my time at Concordia. All right, thank you.